I wanted to welcome you to my first ever live. And whoever sees this recording, thank you so much for being here and trusting me with this. My name is Nicole Beaudin. I am the first author behind This Way to Lightness. I say this because I'm looking for more. And my goal and mission is to provide you with tools to live and work a lighter life. I am Reiki certified, I am coaching certified, and I spent 15 years in the corporate space for corporate merchandising, retail, and buying. And there was a lot of swirl. And as a result, we lost our way. At the end of my career, I started incorporating more spiritual tools and habits and ritual that helped me feel lighter and show up as my best. So today's live is really focused on how to use your intuition in business. And the reason that that is important is because your intuition wants you to live your lightest and best life, but we often don't hear it. We don't make space to hear it. We don't tune in. And so I wanted to answer today the question that I get most often. And that question is, Nicole, how do I know it's my intuition? And I do have some notes here, so I will be looking down at these notes because I wanted to be as prepared for you as possible today. So here's the annoying yet true answer. Hi, Rock the Damn Boat. Thank you for being here. I gave a little bit of an intro, but you already know that about me. So I'm going to continue on with how to listen to your intuition. So again, the question I often get asked the most is, Nicole, how do I know it's my intuition? And the answer is annoying because it's not exact and it's an individual science. So your intuition to you is going to sound different from my intuition to me. And the thing that is going to happen is that you have to practice. You have to get it right. You have to get it wrong. And you have to give yourself time to recap. There are many times in my life where I didn't listen to my intuition because I didn't know it was my intuition speaking to me. And looking back, I can tell. And those lessons are anchored in me now so I can make better choices going forward. So I will tell you this. There are a few key areas that make it easier for you to hear your intuition. One of them is to know your vision for key pie slices of your life. So your intuition will never ask you to do something that isn't in alignment with your vision. So even if it feels weird or odd, it's not going to say jump off that cliff, even though it's in the opposite direction of where you want to go. So always know your vision, and your vision is meant to evolve and change, and as you evolve and change. So spend time every 6 months really anchoring in what is your vision for health, career, community, love, finance, adventure, creativity, and build out what your vision is for all of those pie slices. Feel what it feels like to live that life, and your intuition will guide you there. Then the next important piece is to know your values. So your intuition is never going to ask you to swindle someone if you don't align with being a swindler. And really, God, I hope most people don't align with being a swindler, but they're out there. So if your values are to empower humans, to hold space, to not judge, to always act in alignment with your integrity, your intuition isn't going to ask you to stray from that. It's going to help you stay the course. And then the third, know yourself, know your triggers, know how you play small and why, know what you need to thrive. And that is different for everyone. Some people don't need a lot. Some people need more. 4, carve space daily to tune in. And I think this one, they're all kind of hard, honestly, but this one I think is the hardest for most of us, especially when we are living such a busy, busy life. I often hear, especially from my clients still in the corporate space, that, I don't have time. Well, we have time for what we make for. And truly, you can spend 2 minutes to close your eyes and breathe and tune into that still small voice within you and ask it to be your guide. So I don't know if there are any questions, but that is really the focus for you to really understand your intuition in business and yourself and life is to know your vision, know what you're pushing towards and building towards, Really know your values, and your values in business and life should align because you are one human being living a full life. Know yourself and really carve out space daily to tune in. And again, that space and time doesn't need to be a lot. It can be 2 minutes here or there. Close your eyes, maybe make a note down in your phone or notebook. So I have a lot of examples of when I didn't listen to my intuition, and I'll share with you how my body and mind and still small voice were trying to talk to me. So um, I remember when I first started at Tory Burch, it was really exciting to get that job. It was a big move in my career from home furnishings to this like big, up and coming fashion brand in like, when did I start? I don't know, 2012 is when I started. And I was there to grow their e-commerce business, and it was crazy and it was busy and there was no time. And we were working, it felt like 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I remember one of the things I loved about the brand is that they empowered women. And I remembered my first meeting with the founder, and it was sprung on me last minute, but I was like, oh, she's so cool, Nicole, you need to meet her. In my meeting with the founder, my skin crawled. I wanted to hide in the floor. And I thought at the time that was just me feeling insecure and unprepared. Looking back, my empath and highly tuned nature was sensing the lack of truth within the organization. And this is evident everywhere, right? And so that was one way my intuition spoke to me and I didn't listen. And what happened then as a result is I have a lot of great lessons from that space, but I also had to heal a lot of trauma from there, like crying in the bathroom because I was bullied to trauma. And so it wasn't in alignment with me, and the business itself wasn't in alignment with itself, and my body was trying to tell me, and I didn't hear it for a while because I was trying to prove and earn my worth, and it was so cool to work there, right? And so that's one. The second one, which I always get a laugh at, is about the same time I started dating this guy, and I really liked him. He had a lot of things right. He also had a lot of things wrong, like he didn't have a job or make any money, and he drank too much, and all of this. And he had anger issues and didn't go to University of Michigan like I did, but cried when Michigan lost football games and was angry and depressed, which I am not. And I think it's a little too much to put on another team. But anyway, I remember after our first we didn't even have a date. It was like we met at a bar and hooked up. So that's an honest thing about me too, is I gave too much of myself early as an empath who didn't really know it. But anyway, I didn't like the way he smelled. And it's interesting, he didn't smell bad. I didn't like the way he smelled. And I remember sharing that with a friend years later, and they were like, God, we wish we would have told you to listen to that. So like your senses speak to you at all times. So I have counter examples of that, of when I listened to my intuition and when I listened to my intuition in business and what that did. So I'll first talk about love and when I listened to my intuition there. And I will say to you that having empowering romantic relations that you nurture have been proven to show that they impact how you show up at the workplace. So relationships are just as critical to your business, to your entrepreneurship, to your career as just showing up to the office. So I was really lonely, and I was helping my mom purge my childhood home and learning and realizing that she was incredibly narcissistic. And I was 40, living in Crystal Lake, Illinois, my hometown that I grew up in the middle of the pandemic. I write about this in one of my most recent posts, but I couldn't handle it anymore. And so one night I went to bed and I prayed and I said, God, please, I'm ready. I'm ready to meet this man. I've made this list. I know what I need now, finally, after 40 years of not knowing. I know who I am after 40 years of not knowing. And I was like, in the morning, please let me know what I should do to meet the person I'm supposed to be with. And in the morning, I kid you not, in my brief morning meditation, I heard, ask your mom to buy you eHarmony for your birthday. And I did. And I acted on it immediately, set up a great profile, and I met Matt, who I'm with, a month later. So that was one, like my intuition was like very loud and clear, which by the way, annoyingly never doesn't happen that often, but that was awesome. Intuition number two, I was working on, and this is a business one, I was working on my dad, after he passed, he had this recipe that's famous. It's a tomato juice recipe that's spicy and it's kind of a great Bloody Mary, but it's also just really amazing on its own. And he was a big gardener, and that is some of my favorite memories of my dad. And they were hard to come by at the end. And so I was working on figuring out how to make it spicy in a consistent way. My dad would just throw peppers in, and then some were really like undrinkably spicy, and some weren't as spicy at all. And so I kept hearing that I should reach out to my friend who has a Substack on here, Nikki Sizemore, and reach out to her. And so finally I did. And another friend of mine, her intuition said it too. So sometimes when you don't listen to your intuition right away, other people will come and help you. And we had a meeting, and then we had reconnected. We had gone to high school together. We had reconnected after many, many years. And in our first meeting, we decided to keep meeting because she loved, connecting with me as a coach in my more spiritual path and what I opened up in her, and she gave me similar gifts, but in her unique way. And what that led to is unlocking this book that came from her and a whole new community that I didn't know I would be connected to. And she was the one that inspired me to get on Substack. So your intuition speaks to you in different ways. And if it's really important, it will knock for a while and use somebody else. So if you're listening to this recording, I would love to know how you know it's your intuition or not in the comments, and rock the damn boat. I would love to know what tools you do to discern if it's your intuition or not. I don't know if you want to share in the chat, but we all have our unique voice, and it just takes practice. It takes getting it right. It takes getting it wrong. It takes listening to it in moments that don't matter. So simple things. If your P&L is in a spreadsheet, ask your intuition to pick the color. You have to start to learn its voice like you're learning a language. Or if you're walking somewhere, have your intuition tell you left or right or straight. Or when you're in the garden, have your intuition focus on where you should start first. It's just about engaging it and being a part of it. So let this be your permission to make space for your intuition in business. And if you have any questions about kind of aligning on your values, okay. Rock the Damn Boat says, I try to really notice how my gut feels. With a recent job opportunity, I cried every time I talked about it. That was clear. So really, and your gut and your body and your physical response is really, really important. It's important to tune into that and start to understand. I have also asked people to track, their intuition, like when did their intuition say this and what did they do? So you start to get this sort of like data. Putting data to your intuition is always really fun, because it will guide you to your highest and best opportunity, especially if you prompt it with that. Higher self, intuition, guide me to what is my next best move for me. So if you want support on really figuring out what your values are, what your vision is for key areas, so you can really practice and tune into your intuition, my next live, I'm going to kind of guide through a clearing so you can be a clear vessel to hear your intuition. Then I'm going to share some tidbits on how I use a spiritual board of advisors to guide me. Any questions? Rock the Damn Boat. You're the only one here, so you made this less hard on me. So thank you so much. But if you have any questions, let me know. And I'm thank you to everyone that is watching this. Please feel free to chat or message me questions. I have never done a live on Substack before, so I'm a little uncertain as to how to end and any next steps. So please let me know, and I am here. So may this be your permission to this way to lightness in work and life through your intuition. Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for hearing it and being here for it. And thank you again, everyone. May this bless you 10,000-fold.